Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. Got a video today from Alexander Grace. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow. It's chow time.
I absolutely went into marriage knowing I was going to become a divorcee. There was no question in my mind. I knew at some point we would get divorced. The only question mark was when. I thought, when I'm 40.
To me, it seems like they go into these ready to steal resources from men. They know they're going to leave. So why even get married? Why? Because they can steal resources.
Maybe I'd get that title. Maybe then I'd earn to, 10 years down the track. Because I think 10 years in a marriage, that's a pretty good innings in this day and age. That's like a good run. Turns out it was just the 3. In the end, that's all we kind of reached our limit with. I'm not going to get married again unless it's someone with terrible health, no living other relatives, and a lot of money.
Haven't we been told that women love commitment, that women are the loyal ones? They just want their happily ever after, that marriage and monogamy is just a dream come true for women? Yeah, we've been lied to.
Yeah.
Women are terrible at commitment. That's why 70% of divorces are initiated by women. You've got women.
We've noticed this now, haven't we? As men, we're like, who's really the commitment phobes?
Entering marriage already thinking about divorce because women are privileged. Marriage gives women special rights that men do not have access to, and getting divorced activates those rights. If you want to understand why so many women are suddenly leaving their husbands, you need to look at the societal incentive structures that we have in place. I'm going to allow a divorce lawyer to explain.
Key problem I have with marriage as it is done currently here in the West and in other places, but certainly the clay in which I work, is that there are certain promises the law can enforce, and there are certain promises it can't. So if we acknowledge, if we say the quiet part out loud, that in the majority of heterosexual marriages, the man brings protection and providing, and the woman brings kindness, warmth, and care, right? And sex.
That's what we say.
That's the economy. That's the economy. I didn't make that up. Don't get fucking mad at me in the comments. I didn't make it up. It was here before me. It's going to be here after me. I promise, right? So that's the game. That's the economy. His roles, his obligations are enforceable by law. So state power can be used to enforce his obligations, not hers.
Makes
the court
sense.
cannot order her to be nice to him, or to fuck him, or to stay pretty, or to stay sweet and friendly to him and kind to him, or speak nicely of him, or raise the children in a meaningful way.
I never even thought about it, that our side of the deal is completely enforceable and their side is not. That makes so much more sense why women really don't feel like they have to do anything, right? They're in that privileged side of things to where they can demand all this. Why? Because the government is gonna pretty much protect them.
Way that,
I mean, we figured that out already, but I didn't think about how in depth it is that, yeah, in the marriage itself, we are enforced.
It creates value to him instead of teaching them to disrespect him, right? But his promises in that, shelter, food, financial obligations, court can force you to do that. And if you don't do it, they can put you in jail, or they can take away your driver's license, your professional licenses. So what is that? When you have a contract where only one side is enforceable by law, under penalty of law, like that is a dangerous game to play if you're a man, period.
Straight up, this is one of the reasons why so many men do not want to get married anymore. It's too vulnerable.
This is why I say I push for marriage. I push for families. I'm not going to say I push for marriage. I push for families. But I understand most families is tied with marriage. And I can't really, in the good heart of me, say, go get married, guys.
What is to stop a woman from completely reneging on her promises to her husband? He's completely powerless. And it is especially painful because what men want out of a marriage is actually very sweet and wholesome. Look at this graph. You see that the top factors that men are looking for when choosing a wife have barely changed in 70 years. He wants her to be dependable, loving, emotionally stable, intelligent, have a pleasing disposition. These are all different ways to say the same thing. He wants companionship with a sweet, loving woman who is is kind to him, who makes his life pleasant. In exchange, if he receives all of that, of course, he is happy to financially provide. But women are always in control because she can treat him like shit, and after he signs that marriage contract, he's trapped. He can't get out of it without halving his finances and risking access to his children. Women have the power and they know it.
So there's a few things that I don't do as a married woman. Number one, I do not cook for my husband. I only cook for my children. My husband will be making his own breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Number two, I do not help him pay any bills. So if he is short on the rent, on utilities, or anything like that, it is not my problem. I will not be helping him out. Number three, I do not do his laundry.
Does this sound like a wife, like a supportive partner? Absolutely not. But let me ask you this question. What exactly is the man meant to do in response if this is the treatment that he receives? He says, we're married. Please be nice to me. Have sex with me. Support me. Help me out. He can beg for those things, but bottom line, he has no power. His options are to put up with it and stay miserable inside the marriage, or get a divorce and risk access to his children and lose a bunch of his money. This is so unequal. It is so unfair. How have women gotten away with this? The answer is by lying. We have been lied to in this culture. You, since the day you were born, have been lied to. I'm going to explain what those lies are and their significance in the rest of this video. Now, I know that you've been told all of your life how privileged you are as a man and how terrible the treatment of women is in our society. But tell me, in marriage, where exactly
we definitely don't believe it
is the man's privilege? Because I can't find it. It's the money, feminists claim. He controls the finances. Therefore, he has all of the power. But as Warren Farrell spoke about in his book, The Myth of Male Power, the fact that the man is making the money is not what is important. What is he spending it on? If he busts his ass 6 days a week in some manual labor job that is breaking his spirit, and he uses that money to provide for his wife, to provide for his children, does it make him powerful or does it place him under their power? Honestly, the sexism that this culture has towards men is so disgusting and sick. Imagine that, the noblest of all male endeavors, to sacrifice our own comfort, to take miserable jobs so that we can make the lives of the women and children easier. That very sacrifice is used against men and portrays them as dictators, lording their power over the vulnerable. Men have been complicit in this false narrative for too long. Men have swallowed all of this shame and criticism leveled against us, endured this endless humiliation, all the while carrying the burden of the family and society on our shoulders. How long can you be expected to do that while at the same time enduring accusations that you are part of the toxic patriarchy? My fear is that men have been silent for so long that many women have honestly forgotten that men are humans, that they have emotions, hopes, and desires of their own. That for some women, when they look at men, they see his proper role as being a slave out in the fields, working for her comfort, and she's completely justified in shaming him if he ever complains. There was this TikTok video where a man was coughing, and the wife accused him of having man flu, a disgusting sexist phrase used to diminish male suffering, designed to shame them into ignoring their needs and going back to providing for everybody else. And in this video of this wife exposing her husband's man flu, you should see the comments. They are very revealing of how women truly feel about a man's role. I get irritated immediately. Oh my God, put him outside. That would be my final straw, because what is that? Go and get his mummy. I remember being a teen and my dad getting tonsillitis. He fell to the ground like this. I got the biggest ick for my mum and told her to divorce him. Can you?
What the? Their daughters are. We're just replicant. Like replicant fish is so true at how people view us. We are just robots. As we should be robots. We shouldn't have emotions. We shouldn't get sick. We just need to be robot ATMs.
you believe that women manage to convince everybody that they are the compassionate gender, that women are the ones who are kind and supportive? Look at the raw contempt they have for a man who stops providing for a second. So what is the solution? For some men, it's to never get married, and I can understand that. It is safer to stay single than to get married to a low-quality woman. But for some men, that's simply not an option. They're too ambitious. Yes, there are risks. Yes, it has certain inherent dangers. But if it is possible to live a happy life with a loving, supportive partner and raise children together, that's what they're going to shoot for. Just knowing that it is possible.
And I'm perfectly happy for you guys to try to shoot for that goal. It is a great goal to go after. The marriage part of things, probably not the greatest, but the family, the kids,
makes them willing to take that risk. And I understand that. And I'd say that that's where the perspective of my channel comes from. Everybody is welcome here, but there are probably YouTube channels designed to convince men that it's a good idea to leave the dating market completely. That's not my intention. I've been with Emily 15 years. And in my mind, I make content for men who want to recognize all of the dangers, but still want to pursue long-term monogamy with a high...
And that's where my channel comes into. That's what I want to push. I want to push that there's dangers. There's definitely other routes, might be better routes, but the overall goal, in my opinion, is definitely family and kids. If men have family and kids, I think men would be so much happier majority of the time. If it's a good wife and, obviously.
Quality woman. But if you're going to do that, you need to be aware of what you're walking into. You need
True.
to know the risks. And more importantly, what you can do to minimize those risks. Things to look out for. Ways for you to conduct yourself in dating and in marriage.
No, he's right. We have been lied to. We've always heard that they're the most empathetic, the most caring and all of this. But who's truly the caring ones? The one that built the world, tamed the world, and made the world safe for everybody else? Or the one that just reaps the benefits? Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.